Ready for another round? It's Brewsday Tuesday. Here is Huck and Big Nate.
That didn't make any noise at all. Quiet beer.
It's library beer.
This is
Spending all
a
your time in the library studying.
this is a big beer in a big bottle.
Yeah, it is a big bottle.
Somebody call me an Uber.
It'll be a big
You're-
afternoon, big
you're-
evening.
You're an Uber.
You can just stay here, Huck. We've got a couch you can crash on.
I'll crash.
It's the welcome into another round of Brewsday Tuesday, brought to you by the Cellar Restaurant and Six Pack Store, courtesy Huck. I've got the Indolith barley wine style ale, aged in bourbon barrels, baby, from Jackie O's. So you know it's good. It's a 2023 edition, so this has some age on it, which is never a bad thing with a barley wine style. 14.1% ABV. And if you're looking at the artwork, it's nice and it's embossed. It's got this gold inlay, and it's by Erica Mirth. So we'll call this the Mirth Mobile.
So I have the Komes, Komes, from Poland. Don't know how to pronounce that. I'm not Polish, even though I have the same IQ. Barley wine style ale, 12% by volume. So it just makes a Huck session birthday beer. So anyway, it's I don't know where I got that one. I've had these for a while. This one anyway. And every time I see a barley wine, I think we discussed that, I buy it.
That's a good policy to have. I'm gonna
Yeah.
start doing that.
Yeah, I just get it and then eventually I drink it. This one's really good, but so I forgot I had an audio aid about Krampus. So all the Kramp I wear bells. So it would be appropriate to shout more cowbell.
It would.
When in fact you're at a Krampus parade.
Oh, don't fear the Reaper.
That's right. So this is all I got. It's a little one. If you can't see it, it's like 3 by 2 inches.
That is a now.
I carry this in the Jeep. It hangs in the Jeep and it lets me know when I'm on a rough road. It was so bad at the beach that we finally put it in a pillow on it because we couldn't hear the radio.
No, that's never acceptable.
No.
You need to be able to hear the radio over anything else.
Right, because we're radio folk.
That's the number one rule. Car making a funny noise, just turn the radio up.
Well, actually, yeah, my other Jeep, I have 2 Jeeps. No, you can't have too many Jeeps. Has a problem in the rear end. The wife, did you fix it? No, I turned up the radio.
That's right.
I'm taking it in to get it fixed this week. We'll see.
My former aunt, her car had the check engine light, and her solution wasn't to take it to a mechanic. She put a postage stamp over it. She was like, "It's a 25 cent." And it must have been 27 cents or something like that at the time. It was 27-cent fix.
Well,
I was like, "Yeah, no, that's not fixing the damn thing."
back when I was a
She's not a
banker,
bright lady.
back when I was a banker, I've had a lot of careers. My auto mechanic and I would buy totaled automobiles and fix them up. And so in, I guess, 1998, I had a 1996 Durango that had been totaled. And the only thing was we fixed everything, but the airbag light
Wouldn't go off.
wouldn't go off. So I took a business card and just put it right over the light on the dashboard. And I went 6, 8 years with that.
Was it your business card or someone else's?
It was actually it was for it was automotive one. It might have been his business card. Oh yeah, it was automotive one. It matched it was a green Durango, so it matched. It was a green card. Anyway, no one ever looked under it. All those years I got it inspected. No one said, "What's wrong with the airbag?" And there was no airbag. That was the thing.
Yeah.
It's just a flappy piece of plastic on the passenger side because I don't care about the wife. Come on. Nobody cares. Well, short people, it kills them anyway.
She should. If I get in an accident, she should have been a better backseat driver.
Right. It's all her fault. She's pretty good at it. Yeah, it's like I can't drive without my wife because who else would go when some car a mile ahead of me puts on their brakes.
Or when they're reacting to something they see on the side of the road.
Right.
Like that's not at all germane to you. Well, don't do that. Like, what if I wrecked?
I will say that she saved the car the other day because I was looking at something, I don't know, off the side of the road. And she went, and I looked around. There's 8-point buck standing in the middle of the road. And I mean, if she hadn't yelled, I'd have just plowed him over.
Yeah, there was one of those recently where a car was in my blind spot and I almost came over on them, and the wife, of course, said nothing. I was like, "Where were you on that one?"
Yeah, come on. Of course, my brother-in-law has a car that tells you if somebody's in your blind spot. And he's like, I don't have to hold the steering wheel. He takes his hands off the steering wheel. He's cruising down the road. And then the car goes, "Meow." You see now it wants me to drive. Just put your hand on the wheel. But we had a Subaru that had that, would tell you, and that's good. Tells you, like if you're backing out of space and someone was coming, it would sound an alarm. Basically now I just drive old vehicles and they stop because they don't want to hit it.
Yeah.
I probably don't have insurance and all that. So it's a good idea.
That's definitely the move. They treat you differently when you're driving an older vehicle.
That's right. So the other thing about the Krampus, the non-traditional ones, they like fire a lot.
Well, who
They
doesn't?
have torches, and they beat on their gas tanks and they burn things.
I like the non-traditional Krampus.
Yes.
They're a sect of the Krampus following that doesn't Protestants. They're Protestant Krampus.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Well, we didn't talk about that. So they won't sell Krampus stuff at Hobby Lobby. Of course, they won't sell a lot of stuff, Halloween stuff, because, of course, Krampus is the devil. But is Krampus really the devil? Are all these dark Christmas things really about Satanism? Well, no, let me explain. What it is that back in the day before we had, universal health care and we knew about vitamins, we knew about, how to grow enough crops to last through the winter, people would die, especially the children. And that's why the focus of the Krampus is the children. Takes the bad children away. What they really mean is he takes the dead children away. And that's how societies have dealt with this issue for centuries, that the children die during the winter because, as an ex-EMT, the worst case scenario is an injured child because an injured adult can hang on for 2 or 3 hours without much blood and without much air. But an injured child's only got 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You have got to take care of an injured child. And so historically, we lost a lot of children, which is why everyone had 10, 12 kids. So they still have enough to run the farms.
Insurance policy.
Yeah. Kind of like keep going. So
I love my tax deductions.
exactly. Yeah. Always have your babies right on December 31st. Plus, if you time it right, no, that has to be the other way around. You can't, if you go past the new year, I guess you miss it by a few minutes, you might get a bunch of prizes anyway. We never were in that contest. I mean, my son was born on December 13th. All my people are born in November.
So you still get
December.
credit for the whole year.
I'm June. I get every there's nobody else around me. My poor wife's the 19th, so she didn't get anything for her birthday, or she doesn't get anything for Christmas, depending on how you look at it.
Our youngest is the exact same as mine coming up on the 7th.
7th of
So it's
December.
the exact same.
All right.
So that was my birthday present to myself last year. It was another tax deduction.
Yeah, there you go. That's it works.
Or
out.
I suppose that was my wife's present to me.
Yeah, they do that. They're good at that. It's one thing, women are really good at. They're much better at it than men.
I found that our success rate's 0.
Yeah. You haven't got any men? None? Oh, well. We won't go there either. So anyway, back to the dark nights of Christmas and all. So, I think it's, even though you could say it does have a kind of Satanist feel to it, it was really in response to a bad thing and just trying to deal with that in a way that society could, kind of celebrate it, but not celebrating, just a truth thing. There's truth out there you got to sometimes live with. Now I'm a philosopher. A couple more barley wines, I'll probably be a poet, and I won't know it. Well, my feet will
Looks like
show
we're
it.
there.
My feet will show it.
What would a poet's feet look like?
They're long fellows.
All right.
You didn't see that coming, did you?
I did not.
I love that. That's just a serious. See, that's the thing. When you're like my age, you can start telling these jokes from 40 years ago and nobody's heard them. Well, because all the old,
The old becomes new again.
that's right. As my generation doesn't really take care of themselves, there's not a lot of old people left anymore. I think the life expectancy has dropped like 4 years under the baby boomers. So there you go. And we have the money,
Wait,
What?
are you a baby boomer or you're a Gen X?
No, I'm a baby boomer, barely. My little brother is a Gen X. I'm 55, 1955. You can do the math. Of course, if you look at my Facebook, I'm 1931.
That's not even a baby boomer. That's
April 7th, because that's when they freed the beer after Prohibition. That's the day that Roosevelt signed the only presidential order that I approve of, when they freed the beer. Well, no, there's another one because Carter freed the homebrew with a executive order in 84, I believe it was. Couldn't make homebrew before 1984.
That's like
Didn't stop anybody in Franklin County.
Prohibition is just such a fascinating chapter in American history, and the way that, I mean, the true entrepreneurs just circumvented. Of course, you've got the moonshiners, but winemakers with their wine bricks.
Yep.
It said right on the label, "Do not mix with water because you will make wine."
Yeah.
I love that.
Well, a lot of people don't understand. There's a lot of information that's not publicly available. But when they ended Prohibition, they had all these revenuers, and they just didn't know what to do with them. Well, at the time, they had a problem with the black people, and the black people were smoking a lot of marijuana. They said, well, we can solve two problems at one time here. We'll just make marijuana illegal. So basically, the fact that marijuana is illegal is racism. And, at some point we need to repeal that law. Of course, it's 37 states have some form of legal marijuana, but it's still federal law.
Yep.
So, I mean, Virginia, for example, allows marijuana, but you can only get marijuana that was
Gifted.
produced in Virginia, and there's only one store that sells it.
Oh, so I didn't even know that.
And I was using it as a sleep aid when I was sicker than I am now. And, I'd buy every couple of months something to help me sleep. And the last time I went in there, they had jacked their prices by 100%, because why not?
Supply and demand.
Well, no, they're not even that demand. They're the only ones. They can't. And, I really like the THC seltzers. They're delicious. And I have to acquire them elsewhere. Legally, of course, because you can buy them legally in other states, and you're allowed to use them in Virginia. You can use any up to a certain point THC, but you can't get it recreationally. It's you got to be medical. It's really weird.
It's weird the way that stuff like that's been rolled out here in the state. And
I think we
don't fully understand it.
You send the Krampus after them.
I think so.
I think the Krampus, they could make their suits out of hemp. That would look right. They look like straw now, so just make their suits. Maybe I'll do that. I'll make a hemp Krampus suit for next year.
Hemp Krampus.
And then at the end of the parade, we can all smoke it. Except I'm not allowed to smoke.
We can't smoke hemp. And you're not allowed to smoke.
I'm not allowed to smoke. I know. Every time I go somewhere, there'd be somebody burning a brush, and I'm like, dude, I can't breathe that. I was coming over here a couple weeks ago, and when I came through Pulaski, there's a big farm by the airport there, and they were spreading some kind of stuff, and the thing pulled out onto the road, onto the highway, just blowing all this white dust. I'm pretty sure it was lime. I had to hold my breath for about a minute, and I can't do that. Just get through that cloud and roll the windows up real quick. It was scary.
No, that's no good.
No. And then when I came back, there was another one, but he didn't get in the road, but he's over there. They had 3 of them out there doing whatever they were doing. Spreading some kind of chemical there on the farmlands.
So they're bringing back Agent Orange.
Agent Orange. Yeah, I was of Vietnam age. I just didn't go. I chose not to go. I missed the draft.
You missed the draft. Again, I think we talked about this the other week. If they drafted me,
yeah,
no thanks.
Yeah,
I don't think they would want me. They would have to like me to trade with some rival army military force.
Well, yeah, they could send you to North Korea.
Got no
Who could
depth
send you to
perception.
Russia?
I'm not saying I don't want to go I'm not saying I want to go to any of those places. I'm just saying the US military would be better served if I was not serving.
Yeah, I just every Thanksgiving, of course, last week, I always listen to Alice's restaurant. And it's funny how things change over time. Um, the original version when he goes to the draft office. No, he says at the end of the song, he says, we should start something here. Is everyone should go in to their local draft board and sing a couple bars of Alice's restaurant and go out. And if one person does it, then they're going to think he's crazy and they're not going to take him. He said, if two people go in there holding hands and sing it, he's going to think and he used the derogatory term for homosexual people, and they're going to not take you anyway. And if three people do it, they're going to think it's a movement. And if 50 people do it, then they're going to think it's going to, it's a new thing and everybody's got to go with it. But then in the version that he did in 2016, the new version, he did a new extended version. He said, two people go in there holding hands and do it, and they probably won't take them, even with the current president, which I thought was kind of funny. So that was under Obama. But I just thought that, it's pretty hilarious how our culture changes, and things like the Krampus we don't do that anymore. I had it in the parade last year in Blacksburg, this guy, and he he didn't get a really good response. There's only like, out of the 10,000 people lining the streets, only about 5, I think, really got it. And I had a young lady with me who might have been a little bit in her cups, Crazy Mary. And I tried to tell her, and she kept yelling, if you don't behave, Krampus is not coming to your house. And I'm like, that's not how it works,
Yeah, that's
Mary.
not how it works.
It's not the deal.
If you don't behave, he's definitely
He's going
coming to your house.
you. Okay, let's be clear
Yeah.
on this. Kidnap you and eat you. But anyway, so there's always different ways that people focus on the old Krampus. So one of these days I'll make a Krampus suit. I mean, I'm such a good Santa. It's hard to be Krampus.
Well,
There is a
Krampus knocked is the 5th.
Yeah.
So
After that, I'm Santa.
I think once Thanksgiving ends all the way through the 5th,
Yeah.
Krampus, and then afterwards you're Santa. Because I do see we get you some horns.
Yeah.
I mean, with those red glasses on, you kind of look identical.
Well, that's not traditionally. The mask is more scary. It's carved of wood. Has slits under the eyes you can see through.
No, the masks are very cool.
Yeah. So I mean, I may do that one year. But yeah, I have 5 Santa suits. I have a real Santa suit. That's his hat came from that. So it's this color, which is a little different than the Santa red you see today. It's more of a Victorian red Santa, which I still own a Victorian house, so I'm big on that era. We decorate our house. Well, I've gotten more blow ups, like my friend here. I also have a Frosty and a Santa and a Highland cow. I just got those.
I was against the blow ups until we had children.
Well, I had the skiing Santa. He's about the size of this guy, but his arms move. But it was a rough year last year. He couldn't stand up. He's drinking too much. I had to let him go. And I haven't been able to find another one.
So you're saying he's a bad Santa?
He was that's my favorite Christmas movie.
I love that movie.
Bad Santa 2. I think there's a 3 coming out.
I haven't seen Bad Santa 2 yet.
It's not as good as 1, but it's
no,
good.
It's one of those like I didn't like Anchorman 2. There are certain movies that are just so perfect.
Yeah.
That you don't really need a sequel, and a try kind of is just a disservice to the first. Like there was that, because one of my all-time favorite movies is National Lampoon's Vacation, the original.
Yeah.
And I love Christmas Vacation.
Yeah.
But when they made that sequel, like just for nostalgia's sake with Ed Helms, like that was not.
I don't know that I watched
need to
that
be done.
one.
It had Ed Helms, Christina Applegate, Chevy Chase was in it for like a little bit. It's not really worth watching. You don't need to just wheel out a sequel for no reason.
No, there's a reason. Money talks.
Okay, you need
Nobody
you
walks.
need a better reason.
A better reason. Oh, I agree. I mean, some of
be able to justify it to the fans.
Some of these things, they just keep going and going and going. What is it? The The ones where they race the cars.
Fast and the Furious.
Fast and Furious. We're on 8 or so right now.
Oh, Huck, we're well past 8.
Are we
think we're
past
like
8?
near 12.
Okay. The only one that I haven't seen 4 yet is John Wick. It's on my list to see. Wait for it to be cheaper than like $20 to watch.
Yeah, Fast and Furious. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Oh, mercy.
And then there were 2 spin-off movies. So
Oh,
yeah, we're at
spin
12.
out maybe more like.
Yeah. And don't worry, they're making more Fast and Furious movies too. Like they've got 4 more planned. So we'll hit 16 before too long.
See those cars and the people in having a Honda with a thin, what do you call it, on the back?
One of the giant spoilers that
Yeah, giant spoiler
provides nothing.
on a Honda. Okay.
Yeah. You're driving
They all go. Okay, there's a thing I want for Christmas. It plugs into your OSB port where you can tell your car, and then you plug it into
You can
your phone,
change
and
the
you make,
different noises that the
Yeah.
engine makes. Like
and as the
make it sound
engine
like a
revs
tractor.
up, it can be a tractor, it can be a fart, it can be. Can I say fart?
Yeah,
Fart.
I think you said
It can
fart.
be a whatever, a hot rod, a dragster. It makes a sound. So wife and I figured that's what all these guys in these big trucks actually do. They don't really have powerful engines. They just run it through the radio real
Yeah.
loud through some speakers.
That's I saw that and I was like, that's exactly who that's for, is the
Yeah, those guys.
people who need their truck
Anyway,
to
I
feel a
want,
little
I
more
want
manly.
one. I don't know if I'm going to get one. I asked on my Christmas list.
Well, if you've been good this year.
I've been very good,
All right. So we're getting a little long in the tooth here, and
as we are
I wanna
wont to do.
I want to get off the air and drink more barley wine and talk more about Krampus off air.
Off air.
Some conversations we can't have, but
All right, I'm going to give Polish barley wine a 5. This is big. It's dank. Everything you want in a barley wine. Can't even tell it has alcohol in it, except for the fact that I'm starting to slur my words after only half a glass. So that would be an indicator.
yeah, I mean, this is a barley wine aged in bourbon barrels.
Oh, that's going to be good.
I mean, I guess today's going to be the day. It's a 5, so it's 5 whore today. But next week, maybe I'll give some lower scores. Maybe I'll go into the show and give someone a 1 that doesn't deserve it. We'll balance it all out.
I think I'm going to bring Old Christmas next year.
Okay.
Next week.
Next year.
Next year. I think I'm going to bring Christmas beers I didn't drink last year. Let's see how they hold up.
All right. Fair enough. Huck, once again, thank you for coming in, bringing the beer, bringing the props, and just always being a good time to hang out with. We'll be back with more rock. I'm next on 105.3 The Bear.